to order then.
Recording in progress.
Oh, thank you. Hello. All right, I call this meeting to order. And I think the first item is attendance.
Vice Chair Roman.
Present.
Board Member Ulinskis.
Present.
Board Member Willis.
Present.
Board Member Pease.
Present.
We have quorum.
Thank you. Are there any agenda changes today?
No changes planned.
Amazing. And is there any public comment at this time?
To the chair, I've received no public comment cards and no request to speak online.
Great. Then we can proceed with the first item, which is the schedule of meeting assignments.
All right. Well, good morning. Let me share my screen here. So this is our meeting in July. And on the screen here, as well as in the packet, you guys will see the scheduled meetings for the remainder of the year, as well as some planned absences. If you have any planned absences that you're aware of, please provide those to staff, and we will update accordingly. And did just have a few announcements that I wanted to make. We do have the required anti-harassment training that was sent out. I can resend that link via email, and please complete that by July 30th. And I wanted to provide an update on an adjacent property in another jurisdiction in Menlo Park. So this is the Sunset Headquarters, 80 Willow Road, and the keeper of the National Register did find it eligible for listing. So that previously went before the California Resources Commission last month, and it was forwarded to the National Park Service for determination of eligibility. I do want to note, it's not going to be listed. The property owner did object, so there's a provision should a property owner object, a property would not be listed, but a formal determination of eligibility was made. And I can entertain any questions. I did see Board Member Willis raise her hand. So
I just wanted to clarify the best way to notify you that we'll be absent for a meeting.
Either now
I
or
did do
via
it verbally
email.
at our previous meeting, so I just was questioning whether that was not the best way.
Okay. My apologies. Let's see here.
Okay. I am gone in August.
August 14th. All right.
So
we will update that, and I
So-
will
email you in the future. Is that the best?
Yes, I mean, written is a good form, as well as during the meeting, an oversight on my part
okay.
for not having it on there. So
Okay. And also I see subcommittee, I guess subcommittee assignments, we probably should update. Is there a preferred way to do that?
so the formation of
I
those.
see goal 5 is just, the,
And then it's right here. It's been updated.
oh,
Yes.
oh, we have updates on the other side. Okay. Okay. I got it. Thank you.
All right.
Is there any public comment on the meeting or announcements?
To the chair, I received no requests for public comment at this time.
Great. And any further commentary from the board?
I have one more question. As far as rearranging subcommittees, I have volunteered for goal 1 and goal 3. And do we need to agree on that as a group, or I'm just wondering, I think we did discuss it, but I'm not sure how we landed.
Right, so those subcommittees or ad hocs, if you will, can be formed at the discretion of the chair for the assignment of board members. So,
I am happy to have you join me on goal 3. And then it will just be up to Chair Eagleson Cheeselwitz if, but I assume she, yeah.
I got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, if there's no further comment, I believe we can move on to the staff presentation.
all right. So moving along here, this is a request for a bonus floor area application to grant 2,500 square feet of bonus floor area for accessibility upgrades and the rehabilitation of an existing Category 2 resource on the local inventory. So this is located at 271 University Ave. Just a little wayfinding here. Apologies on the screen here. It should read 271 University, not 411 Kipling Street. So let's see here. So it is located in the downtown north neighborhood, and the zoning district is the commercial downtown and pedestrian shopping combining district. So for some site development, it was constructed in 1930. And the architect or designer, if you will, was Carl Warnwick of Miller and Warnwick. In 1946, there was a fabric awning added. Following that, in 1965, an aluminum roll-up and swing storefront door system was added, and that was later replaced in 1994 with the current storefront with the glazed wood bifold swing doors. So this currently is Local Union, a restaurant. If you guys are familiar with that, and I pulled an image from 1930 of the building on its opening night.
That's super interesting. Oh, sorry.
Oh. All right. So this is a Category 2 major building of regional importance on our local inventory. It was previously a Category 3. A contributing building. The Historic Resources Board previously reviewed this in November of 2023, and council later approved the category upgrade in June 17th of 2024. So for bonus floor area or participation in the Transfer of Development Rights Program, it's available for rehabilitation projects of local historic inventory categories 1 and 2s that are zoned in the commercial downtown district or public facilities, either city-owned property or zoned in some of the south of the forest area SOFA plan. And this project is a rehabilitation project, and it is a Category 2 resource, and it's in the commercial downtown district. So the municipal code provides that a applicant can request for a floor area, a bonus floor area of up to 2,500 square feet or 25% of the existing building. The request is for 2,500 square feet. So as for the proposal and how we got here today, on October 16th of 2024, an initial request was submitted, and April 17th of this year, some revised plans were submitted. And following that, on May 12th, the city's consultant, Page and Turnbull, prepared a Secretary of Interior's standards compliance memorandum for the project plans that are included in the packet and being discussed today. So that would be attachment B. And I did want to note here, as well as detailed in the staff report, the current plan set is still under review to address a minor concern with drainage of the proposed canopy flowing over a public walking surface. So this was a recent update to the California Building Code that our building reviewers had noted on the plan. So as detailed in the staff report, that should the project design change substantially, it would come before the board again, but it's likely that the change can be addressed at the staff level and shouldn't affect the integrity of the building. So in short, we have some accessibility upgrades and rehabilitation work. For a more detailed description that will appear in your packet page 7 for a full page of items occurring on the property. And I did just want to kind of walk us through a little bit of some of that work here on some images. So we have at the front of the building highlighted in kind of this grayish yellow, the existing storefront. And we have the newly proposed design of the new storefront system, as well as canopy. Then we have in the rear of the property, the existing conditions with some of that wiring and piping. And there will be a little bit of cleanup of that as detailed in that packet page 7. And for some renderings of the project, here is the proposed new doors open and the proposed new doors closed. And we have another rendering here of the storefront from the front elevation. So staff is recommending concurs with the findings of Page and Turnbull's evaluation that the project and the request is consistent with the Secretary of Interior standards for treatment of historic properties. And the Historic Resources Board is requested to recommend to the director that the project conforms with the Secretary of Interior standards for rehabilitation. And that concludes my presentation, and I believe that the applicant has a presentation as well.
Wonderful. So would the applicant's presentation fall under public comment?
Yes.
Great. So we will take public comment at this time.
Oh, I see. I'm public comment. Sorry, I didn't.
Yes.
Sorry.
I'm trying to
Nobody else
follow
here.
meticulously.
Yeah. For clarification, we are starting public comment and we start with the applicant's presentation.
Thank you.
As you recall, last time I had problems, so hopefully we've solved those. And that's all good, right? Yeah, great. Good morning, Board Member Roman, fellow board members, and good morning to you, Council Member Liu. My name is Ken Hayes with Hayes Group Architects. I'll be doing the presentation, obviously. I'm joined for my client, Thoit's Brothers, and John Schenk from Thoit's Brothers is here this morning representing them. So 271 University is located on the 200 block of University Avenue, along with some other 1- and 2-story commercial buildings. It was designed by Carl Warnecke in this Art Deco zigzag modern style and was constructed in 1930 by George Peterson as a clothing store for the original owner, Georgina Ostrander. Interesting side note, Carl Warnecke was the father of John Carl Warnecke, a nationally acclaimed architect who, while attending Stanford, met JFK and became JFK's architect and designed the JFK Memorial, as well as other buildings for them in Washington. So it was really interesting tidbit, I guess. But so significant son architect too. So other than modifications to the recessed storefront and the removal of the original commercial sign above the entry that Mr. Switzer has noted, the facade has retained its original ornamentation, including the zigzag cornice, which is really unique, I think. The zigzag window detail, the reeded plaster on both sides, and then there's the medallions as well. Then you can see the steel sash original windows in these photographs too. It was elevated in 2024 as was indicated by staff from a category 3 to a category 2. This is the existing plan. The work is really on the front of the building. The back of the building, we're cleaning it up. We're restoring the windows. We're restoring any damaged plaster and cornice detail. But there's just all kinds of like data wires and phone wires and just all this mess that we're going to clean up. All right, so it won't look so chaotic on the back of the building. And then we're replacing in kind the downspouts. So most of the work at the front. And so we're proposing, this is the existing, we're proposing to remove all of the storefront at the front and recess it back. The reason for recessing it back is to provide accessibility compliance because the slope is a little bit too steep at 3 feet back. So now we're 5 feet back. Provides accessibility, also some areas for additional seating out on the sidewalk and under the overhang of the building. We'll be removing the storefront that is there, as well as the fabric awning. And at the front of the building, we'll have a new steel and glass awning that will project out about 4 feet. That's the awning that's going to need to have a gutter installed, and we're going to do that on the back side. You won't see it. It'll be very minimal, and then there'll be a 2-inch downspout that will then have to go down and under the sidewalk out through the face of curb. So I can explain that more as we go along. At the front, we'll be restoring the steel sash windows, the plaster, and like I said, the cornice and so on at the front. Page and Turnbull did review it, and they determined that it is in compliance with the Secretary of the Interior standards for rehabilitation, both the front and the rear. However, they did have some comments or suggestions, and I want to go over those with you. All right. So as staff already shared, this is the new front of the building. You see the new steel windows that would slide in each direction. The door in the center is fixed. That's the accessible entrance. And then you can see how the canopy, a very minimal steel canopy with a reeded glass, which will be a really kind of interesting nod to, I think, the past, will be used. Also kind of picks up on the zigzag, kind of quality of the cornice and the windows. So we prefer the horizontal mullion option that I'm showing right here. And I want to show it. So the next slide here shows where potential signage could be. So it could hang blade signs on the sides of the awning or an upright sign on top of the awning. But this is not a signage application. We're just showing where you could incorporate signs. Then the next slide would show it if we didn't have the horizontal mullions. And we prefer, like I said, the horizontal mullions, just like the texture, being a little bit smaller scale. And I think Page and Turnbull kind of leaves it up to the board here today to make that decision. And then some of the shots that Mr. Switzer already shared with us, and then with and without. And then the same thing here. Now I don't have the fancy slide of it, the doors opening. I left that one out, but he did get that from us, I think. The materials would be the steel windows and the new steel slide fold doors will all be the same color, a dark painted metal. The plaster will match the color of the existing building, painted front and back. We're going to match the color of the medallions and the cornice, so we're not changing that, but it'll look much nicer than it looks today. And then the steel canopy will also, the steel members will be painted black. And then we're going to continue the brick sidewalk into the recess opening that's shown like in the drawing here. And I think that's the final view. And I'm happy to go back to that, but we look forward to your recommendation to the director for approval of the project so that we can move forward. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hayes. Is there any further public comment or presentation? Yep, looks like there is one.
Hello, quick comments. John Schenk with the Thwaites family, representing the Thwaites family. And wanted to just point out, nothing specific to this project, but I've mentioned before, the Thwaites family's history in Palo Alto is deep. They started here in the 1880s or 1890s. We are excited to see the Palo Alto History Museum gain traction, and I loved being at their grand opening a couple weeks ago, and anticipating some great news about the executive director coming out and just them gaining traction. I think it's awesome. And I also wanted to point out that I think sometimes people miss or think that this process, the TDRs and such, is all about growth, if you will. And I think we have, some have been closed out, maybe 6 different applications for these restorations, rehabilitations as a part of this program. And I think it's important to just state again that there's a wonderful relationship, I think, between the residents of Palo Alto who value history and the historic structures in the downtown and the property owners, where some of this is quite expensive. Even little add-ons like, oh, new building code thing, and now you have to take the drain down underneath the sidewalk. You can imagine, maybe you can't, well, just imagine lots of money because all of a sudden you have to encroachment permits and saw cutting sidewalks and rerun just because the building code. But the TDRs help offset that. And in a way, it's really a union of what's in the community's best interest. And the property owners saying, well, we also want to do this, but it's a way to kind of mitigate some of the costs and show we're both in this together. So I just thought it was a good thing to remind and appreciate the community. And there's the seismic rehabilitation also, and in a similar vein, the community saying, hey, we also value this. Please do these things. And we're happy to jump in and do these things because we love the history of Palo Alto. But anyway, and thank you guys for all of your time and effort in on this, and Councilmember Lou for showing up and joining this fantastic event. But anyway, thank you all.
That concludes public comment.
Great. Are there any questions from the board?
I have a few questions.
Okay.
One is, you just mentioned a seismic upgrade. Is this seismic upgrade? So that is not associated with this. Okay. I was looking on the notes, and the notes for the storefront frame system and the metal panels actually say painted steel or aluminum in the notes, but your presentation said steel. There's a big aesthetic difference between steel and aluminum. So I just wanted to know whether it's been decided that it is going to be steel, or whether that's still to be determined, and these might actually be installed as aluminum instead.
So our preference is for steel windows just because of the sight line, the minimal button pattern, as well as the frame itself. And so that's where we're working towards. There are some aluminum systems that have a very nice sight line, and I'm happy to review that with staff if it ends up we have to go that way. But right now we're pushing for steel to match what's there.
Okay, that would definitely be, I think, our preference as well. And then the last question I have is, it looks like the Weatherhead electrical service, the overhead service is being removed and replaced. There's a line about it.
Oh, the big extension cord that drapes over the front of the building?
It's an extension cord. So
yeah, that's for that wonderful parklet in front.
Oh, I see. Okay, I was wondering what that note was because it's a removed power line.
Yeah, no.
So I thought that might have been an overhead service.
Power's all underground along
Okay,
University.
all right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm very glad you're removing the large extension. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Is that it?
Great. I will open it up for discussion of the board.
Well, I think the first thing is I definitely prefer the horizontal mullions. I think that it's a sort of a nod to the scale of the building. And I think that, without them, okay, it looks more University Avenue, but I think that it's nice to have that little break. So I would support that strongly. Oh, also gotta say, love this building. Thank you so much for taking care of it.
I also support the horizontal mullions. Is that what you said, the technical term? Mullions. They look really nice. It's a nice balance between the kind of modern look that we're seeing some of the buildings in University Avenue in the downtown area go towards, while honoring the historic facade. So just beautiful. Absolutely love it. Thank you both. I did have one question that came to mind. Let's see, let me find it. So question for both Mr. Hayes or Mr. Shank or Stephen, either or any of the above. With the square foot increase, do property taxes also increase on the property? No? Okay. Just curious.
And just to provide a little more context, so the transfer of development rights, or TDR program, was designed in the 1980s with the city of Palo Alto to offer an incentive for the seismic rehab of buildings in the downtown area, as well as the historic rehabilitation. And the floor area can either be used on site or it can be sold on the private market to eligible receiver sites. So this is identified as a sender site, and they are choosing to not use the floor area on the property, and it would be available for sale on the private market. So, and the city just bookmarks, if you will, kind of the awarding of the floor area, and whenever the sale is finalized, the actual transfer to the other property, but the sale is not monitored by the city.
Got it. Okay, that's super helpful. I forgot about the transfer option. So that makes a lot more sense. Any further discussion or comments from the board?
I think it's a beautiful building, and what's being proposed looks like will be really, really a wonderful upgrade to the street.
I just can we give him a strong recommendation on the mullions? I just think it would be nice if we all were on board with it. I don't know if we are. I haven't heard that from the guys.
Yes, strong recommendation.
Do we need to take a vote on the mullions since they do not align with what Page and Turnbull recommended?
So just a little point of clarification. So I think this is detailed on packet page 13 going into packet page 14. So that would be the standards for rehabilitation number 9. So the review of the plans that was presented here today was with the mullions, and it was cited, it could be improved if there were a removal of the mullions, but there was no issues with having the mullions. But the board certainly today can include a modified recommendation to the director, and, citing use of the mullions, but should they wish. So.
Okay, so we have it on record that we all support the use of the mullions. So then I will make a motion that the HRB recommends to the director that the project complies with Secretary of the Interior standards for rehabilitation, and we recommend it to move forward as shown today. And we'll take a vote.
Second that.
Okay, thank you.
Want a roll call or voice vote? Roll call? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries.
Great, thank you both.
Yeah, one last thank you for being such good custodians of our lovely town.
Great. So we will move on to the next item on the agenda, which is, oh, the draft report of the work plan. Yes, big one.
All right, bear with me here. Just opening it up to the packet page, and I will share my screen to make some edits in real time. All right. So here we are in July, and we are reviewing the draft annual work plan, or annual report and work plan, should I say, for the 2025 and 2026 fiscal year. So the Historic Resources Board, as well as the other boards and commissions of the city, are tasked with preparing their work plans and presenting it to council for ultimate approval. So as detailed in the staff report, as well as the attachment, we do have a draft that was prepared for the 2025-2026 work plan, citing some sections of the following the mission statement of prior year accomplishments. And the kind of how I'm envisioning this discussion today would be to go through the work plan goals, and if there's any recommendations or friendly amendments or modifications, we can make those on the screen here today. This is tentatively scheduled to go before council in September. So considering there were going to be some absences of board members, having this go before the board here in July was a good plan. Should there not be a consensus here today, we can schedule this for a subsequent meeting, should there be any further edits, but it would be nice to get this wrapped up today. So, and with that, I can entertain any questions, and perhaps we can take some public comment and jump right in.
Is there any public comment on the proposed 2025 to 2026 work plan?
I have not received any public comment in person or online. If there's any members of the public online that would like to public comment, now's the time to raise your hand. As I see none. Nope.
None? Okay.
None.
My comment, Stephen, Mr. Switzer, is how much have these goals been amended from the 2024 to 2025 work plan year over year?
So if we're talking about the most recent work plan, this was a majority of the goals were carried over. Some of the language or the, let's see here if I pull it up on the screen, some of the timelines occurred. There were some changes just to reflect a new fiscal year. But for the most part, the goals maintained their a majority of the work that was from the previous work plan. And I do want to note here, just for say previous fiscal year work plans, some of these goals are carryovers, if you will, for say the continuing work of the board. So there have been some added work plans and project goals, if you will, most notably the awards that was most recently added. So with that.
Okay. My comment, just to kick off comments and questions from the board, my comment is that I think I felt like we got these in a pretty good place last year. We did a lot of work on the verbiage, a lot of work on the goals, and now we have split apart into subcommittees that are actually doing work on forwarding the goals. So even though we're reviewing it for next year, we are still deep in the actual work of working on this year's work plan. with that, of course, I want to open up for discussions or comments. I do not have any additions or deletions at this time to the workbook, to the goals as they stand. So I'll open up for comment.
Yeah, I'm not so comfortable with the way our goals are stated currently.
Stephen, can you clarify the explanation of the timeline for project goal 4? Because it opens up talking about goal 2.
Bear with me while I get my mouse here. All right, here. So project goal 4. A little loading wheel of death here. So, let's see. Project goal 2 was referring to
Education and creation of assets.
yes. Thank you for that.
Mhm.
So we can change that language here to read goal 4.
Okay, that was my question. Thank you.
Great catch. Thank you. Does everybody need a couple minutes just to review, or we think we're any further comment on this?
That looks good.
Well, then I move to approve the 2025 to 2026 HRB work plan and forward to council.
I'll second that.
Board Member Ulinskis?
I motion to approve, yes.
And yeah, okay. So yes, okay.
Yes.
Board Member Willis,
Yes.
Board Member Pease,
Yes.
Vice Chair Roman.
Yes.
Motion passes 401. Eagleson Chesowitz absent.
Thank you. And we will move to the next item on the agenda, which I think is board business and comments and announcements. Anything from your end, Stephen?
Just wanting to reiterate about the anti-harassment training. I will be sending that out following this meeting. So thank you for any of the board members that have completed that training already. So
Might need somebody to hold my hand. I started it. I actually took me a while to get in. I did get in finally. And then I started it and then I couldn't get back there.
Maybe I can come over and we can,
Okay, thank you.
we can do it on our computers separately, but together. I am happy to provide an update from my subcommittee. Work plan goal 2, 3, yep.
I saw this Mountain Heritage Fair in there. I couldn't get through to register. Do you know anything about that? I mean, maybe it's just full. I just tried like, a couple of days ago, so I don't know. It is limited. Did you log on for any reason?
I have not, but I'm happy to look into that.
I'm this computer girl here today, but I for some reason, I don't think the link was working, but I was just wondering if there was any insight.
It looks like I'll forward it to you, Caroline. I will send you. Yep.
I got there and I tried to register.
You got to the Eventbrite?
Yeah.
Let me see. It might want you to register. That's maybe why. Maybe we can work on that one too. Okay, work plan goal 3. I finally got a chance to sit down and do some work on this over the last weekend. And what I have done is I took the current inventory, which is through 2023. So we're missing the properties that we updated or that were accepted in 2024, but through 2023. And I have created a couple assets. I have created a Google map that has pins where all of our inventory assets are noted, which is something that we could feasibly make available to the public. So very exciting. That was with the help of Gemini. So AI for good on that one. I have also created a Google like intake form that could be used. My ultimate thought is that we have either a small committed group of volunteers or a larger crowdsourced group that is using the map to figure out what historic inventory properties are around them. And then submitting photos of the properties in their current state to this form, uploading the picture with their name, some notes on the state of the property, and then we review that on the back end and make our determination for whether the property should be removed from the inventory, upgraded, downgraded, and so on and so forth. So it's kind of crowdsourcing the information that we are looking for. And it's not quite ready to present yet. Board member Willis and I are going to meet again and review, and she had some great feedback on the form. And also groups that we can reach out to. Of course, past will be wonderful, and we didn't meet this month. We're on break, so we'll meet again next month, and I will present this to them as well. But finally making some headway, and I feel positive about actually being able to get this accomplished, at least part of the way.
And just add, I think we have a great start, but if anybody, I'm sure there's so many people out there listening to us, but also other board members, if you have any suggestions about groups, like Girl Scouts or, kids who need public service hours or anything like that, I think that would be great. I think we're going to have a little, band of 5 or 6 that would, coordinate everything. So we'd have smaller groups to coordinate, but any ideas about people who would like to get involved? And I think one pool might be people you think might be good for the HRB at some point. It'd be a nice introduction. So just keep it in mind. Let Sam or I know if you have any ideas. Thank you.
And I do just want to step in there. So if there is any correspondence, please funnel that through staff so we are not creating, say, a daisy chain or a Brown Act violation. So
let me clarify. So if somebody wants to send me 2 names, but they can't send it to both of us, but they can't just send it to us directly. They have to send it through you.
So 2 board members would not constitute a quorum, but 3 would. So if we have communication, say a serial meeting or something that would need to be noticed through the Brown Act. So
I understand that. I'm more thinking if, somebody wanted to suggest a person or a group, would that be anything to worry about?
A member of the public or another board member?
Another board member. If Geddes wanted to tell me over coffee.
He could email you, but not both you and I. He could email you or me or us separately.
Then
but
can I
not
tell
together.
you? Then can I tell you what he said?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think.
Or
Actually not.
We do have, a wonderful scheduled meeting every month. So that would be another appropriate time to discuss those items. So just trying to be cognizant here of that. So
I would also like to inject my old wisdom, but I think this inventory update is not very subject to abuse. So I think that we should be fine with a little gossip.
Are there any other announcements or just ad hoc subcommittee updates? Happy to entertain those at this time.
So Christian and I have been working on the incentives, and we've actually identified one property as a great case study for the different approaches we've been looking at for incentives. I was in touch with the owner of the property previously. However, the property sold and there is now a new owner. I have been put in touch with the buyer's agent, and I hope to have a conversation with the new owners to maybe continue our analysis of this property as a case study, because there are some things that we want to be able to do that require access to this property. So that's our update.
Curious, residential or commercial?
Residential in Professorville.
Okay, and then update from the last past meeting, which I was not able to attend. I'm just looking at the notes. We have 5 plaques committed for the 2020 or 1925 plaque program. And then back in May, I've been out of this for so long. Back in May, I was invited to present at the past awards ceremony. And so I did a presentation on preserving sense of place in Palo Alto. And I believe it is available on Vimeo, and I have put it on YouTube as well. And I'm happy to share the slides or the recording if anyone is interested. Any further comments? Okay, if not, then I will move to adjourn.
You can also just adjourn the meeting.
Okay, then we will end this meeting. Thank you.